Do you want to learn how to win a free jersey? Well, guess what? Stay around in the next minute here, and I will tell you how. This is Marcus. I'm back from Dynasty Football Dads. We are going to be doing another here Week 9 review, Week 9 waiver pickups. This is an important time of the year. Hopefully, you're sitting at like 5-4, 6-3, 7-2, getting ready for the playoffs. Hey, maybe even 8-1. I don't know. Hey, who knows? It could happen. So let's start off with the review. Let's go through some quarterbacks here. Matt Ryan having another spectacular game. He's hot. We're going to talk about him in the waiver wire section. We've also, I guess you could say some duds. Pat Mahomes, another week of him just performing below the top 12. So Pat Mahomes, I'm not worried about him per se, but it is just kind of the thing to say, hey, he's not easily the number one quarterback. I mean, even Josh Allen had a bad game. We had some bad games from some of the top quarterbacks. Josh Allen was getting chased around by Josh Allen, which was fun to see kind of in the fantasy football realm here. And then running backs, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, two guys that I love in Dynasty. I love in fantasy football. Jonathan Taylor was in a lot of my redrafts. I just thought that this was going to be the second-year breakout. He had that end of his rookie year last year that just tore apart some of the league. I thought he was going to bring that this year. He started off super slow. I was like, getting a little worried. And now he's been, I got something in my tooth. Now he's been doing super well. Wide receiver-wise, let's go stop James Conner. Again, James Conner, 10 touchdowns this year. He's a running back one. Some weeks are crazy. I had James Conner and I had Jordan Howard, throw up in my mouth, versus Kamara and Cook. And James Conner outscored both of them by himself. And then you throw Jordan Howard's 2 touchdowns in there, and I almost doubled Kamara and Cook. And yeah, it's traded away Fournette in Dynasty. I have Dobbins, he's of course hurt, and I have Swift, and he was on a bye, and I have Barkley, and he's hurt or COVID testing. So I was getting to the nitty gritties, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And now look at that. I beat the number 1 team in the league. But they get a free Deebo Samuel jersey. And we're talking about jerseys here. He got to pick between Deebo Samuel and DeAndre Swift. And so if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. When we hit 2,000, we will be giving that DeAndre Swift to just one of you guys. We're going to spiel the wheel of winning again. We're going to get you on there. We'll talk about that. If you're new to the channel, you probably don't know what the wheel of winning is. But we did that for 1,000 as well. And so we're going to be doing that for 2,000 here. Hey, it could be tomorrow. It could be 3 months from now. It could be 6 months from now. Who knows? We'll see. We're already getting a couple different subscribers that are coming in. Tight ends, Travis Kelce, still really good. George Kittle, still really good. Mark Andrews, good, but he dropped a touchdown. So pretty much your your elite tight ends are still elite, and then TJ Hawkinson was on a bye. Wide receiver-wise, no BJ, but we'll be talking about some different waiver wire priorities. Marquise Brown had a good game. Man, if you were a part of the Dallas crew, I have Dak in two Dynasty leagues. Got some garbage time there. Man, I had Lamb. I have Cooper in some investments, and it was just ugly. I was getting super frustrated. I'm also a Cortland Sutton owner, so that game literally did me nothing. I was so pissed from that game, but it happens. There's got to be always sometimes. This was a weird week. And in fact, it was probably one of my weeks that I got the least right, which is okay. There's just going to be weeks that are just crazy and chaotic, and so this was one of them. But let's start with some different waiver wire priority pickups, and this is probably more for your redraft leagues. Dynasty, you're not going to have Matt Ryan available, but Matt Ryan has been hot, and so Matt Ryan is one of the pickups that I am choosing to get. He's just been on a tear lately, and they don't seem like they want to run the ball with Mike Davis and Cordell Patterson. He seems like he's going to be he's more of a wide receiver than a running back, so they do a lot of dump offs. And Olamide Zacchaeus, I think that's how you say it. He scored a couple touchdowns. You got Russell Gage. No Calvin Ridley, but you still have Kyle Pitts. He has enough weapons. And right now they're in playoff contention. They're the number 7 seed. I can't believe I'm saying that. They are the 7 seed. And so the next guy is Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, of course, coming back with his thumb injury? No, his middle finger. He had that middle finger injury. I don't know why I said thumb, but middle finger. I think it was just the right hand. Yeah, because he followed through. I had to think of the actual motion. And so you don't get fantasy points for him warming up and doing play calling before the game, but he does score fantasy points during. So this would be a great time that if you have a bye of a quarterback that's coming up, plan on getting Russell Wilson. He is a guy that will be a sufficient a backup or a low-end QB1 potential with DK, with Tyler Lockett, and who knows, OBJ said he might want to go to the Seahawks. Or does that tear apart Russell Wilson's value? I don't know. OBJ has kind of been a tear apart quarterback values, at least with Baker. There is two running backs for sure. I mean, Jordan Howard, if you want to play the game of 13, 13, 12, and that is the carry, I think it's 13, 13, 12 or 13, 12, 12, well, whatever it is, that's Kenneth Gainwell, Jordan Howard, and Boston Scott's carry numbers. But Howard, 12 for 57 and 2, he's going to be the guy that falls into the end zone most out of those three guys, in my opinion. It is just a mess between them. It is just a mess. I don't want any part of that. Oh, man. It makes me throw up in my mouth to think of that backfield, because Kenneth Gainwell should be easily the running back one in that backfield, but they choose not to. They choose to put Jordan Howard out there, and they choose to put Boston Scott out there a ton, and so this is going to be a 3 RBBC backfield, and Jalen Hurts is in there too, so you are literally getting 25% of the carries on an offense that is okay, but it's just not enough, and so he is 12% owned, but I guess, again, I got him in Dynasty. I literally picked him up off the waivers just because I needed a body. And I said, nah, whatever. He's got Cook and Kamara. What's the worst that's going to happen? He gets 2 carries for 1 yard, and I lose anyways. You got to sometimes throw in those touchdowns. Benjamin is another one. Chase Edmunds came out with a high ankle sprain. So we'll have to we'll probably talk about injuries tomorrow, but Chase Edmonds probably out. Usually high ankle sprains, you're talking about 3-4 weeks. I've had a high ankle sprain before. I've studied high ankle sprains, 3-4 weeks minimum. He's probably going to be put on the short-term IR like now, or tomorrow when they officially diagnose it and give him a timeline. So, Benjamin is the guy that would potentially be the RB2 in that backfield, and hey, RB2 in that backfield has been like RB30, and that's not a bad option if you need a flex guy. Benjamin might be that guy, especially as Kyler continues to heal up. They might be running the ball a ton more, and they seem like they're always up anyways. Wide receivers, Shawn Bateman, still only 36% owned. So I would really like to know if he's actually available in any leagues, because 5 for 52, he's getting the targets. He is the wide receiver 2 in a low passing offense. You could say maybe 3 if you count Andrews as a wide receiver option. So I still think Bateman should be picked up in every league. And another rookie, Elijah Moore, if let's just say both of them are available, he's 27% on. Just for pure upside, I would take Elijah Moore over Rashad Bateman this year, because Rashad Bateman is not going to be wide receiver 1 on that team. He's going to be the second or third option. Elijah Moore could be the number 1 option this year. And that's what I'm talking about, this year. Not next year, not the following year. We're talking about this year. Elijah Moore, 13 for 151 and 2. Who knows who his quarterback is? I don't know. And I don't know if it matters that much, because they all are not been... they haven't been great. In PCL injury for Zach Wilson, so he's still going to be out for at least, another 3-4 weeks? I think that happened like 2 weeks ago. And White might be gone, so you're talking about Josh Johnson, at this point, they might be down. They're usually down, and so they're going to be passing in a ton. Elijah Moore, short term, he's the short guy. He is Antonio Brown light. That is the analogy that I gave when I was looking at his film at Ole Miss. Is he was Antonio Brown light. So Donovan Peoples-Jones replaced into that OBJ role, and I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but he was 2 for 80 and a touchdown. I actually didn't see if that was his final, if he was 2 for 80 for a touchdown, but he had a big touchdown. I could see him being the wide receiver, big play guy for the Browns, and he showed that he did pretty well at the end of last year in bits and pieces. He's a kind of a big play guy, but big body out of Michigan, super hyper athletic. Just one of those things. He's still raw. He's one of those wide receivers. He's not a great wide receiver. He's a great athlete that they're trying to fit into wide receiver. And so I see that a lot with some of these wide receivers. They're never going to be amazing unless you turn this athlete into a great route runner and stuff. But again, doesn't mean that he can't have weeks of fantasy production, which I think he will this year. 2 more, and then I got to go. Dan Arnold, he's 27% owned. Even in our deeper league, deeper redraft league, he's still available. I had a choice between Pat Firemouth and Dan Arnold. I chose Pat Firemouth. But 60 yards in 3 of his 4 last games. Guess who had him the 1 of the 4 games and dropped him because he got pissed? That'd be this guy. I picked up Dan Arnold right away. I was like, yeah, let's pick him up. Let's play him. And then I saw a lot of basically every other tight end that was possibly available on the Jags roster. And Trevor Lawrence hurt. Came back. We'll see if he actually stays around. Whoever is the quarterback there, whether it's him or, gosh, I remember seeing the name. I Can't think of the name right off the top of my head, but they're going to be jumping it off to the tight end a lot, in my opinion, especially when James Robinson, we'll see if he comes back or not. That might make a little bit of an effect, but you're talking about a guy who led last week, 60 yards. He led the team with 60 yards. And then just another one, 38%, Tyler Conklin. He's been utilized a lot in this offense, and I'm a Vikings fan. Can't tell by the background. Go to the last video. You'll probably see that I have the Vikings background. It is frustrating because he is the hyper-targeted, low ADOT, low average depth of target, besides one play. He started off the game really well last week, but this guy is the guy that wins 3rd and 10. He will get you 4 or 5 yards and be frustrating for the Vikings. So, again, make sure you subscribe. Peace out. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.
Now turn up.